next section we will learn about dilutions of solutions. So our equation comes down to be that C1, the concentration in the first condition, times the volume of the first condition is equal to the concentration in the second condition times the volume of the second condition. C1 times V1 is equal to C2 V2. We've seen this kind of relationship before. How would you describe it? It would be a inverse relationship, right? If one goes up, the other one goes down. If concentration changes as an increase, then the volume would be a decrease, and vice versa. So let's do an example. What is the final concentration when 0.50 liters of 6.0 molar HCl solution is diluted with water to a final volume of 1.0 liters? When we read that kind of question, you want to identify all your C1s, V1s, C2s, and V2s. What is my initial concentration? My initial concentration is 6.0 molar. What is my initial volume? It is 0.50 liters. And my final volume, or V2, is 1.0 liters. And I'm looking for the new concentration. Rearranging this equation, I want to solve for C2. That means I have to divide both sides by V2. So C2 is equal to C1 V1 divided by V2. C1 in this case was 6.0 molar times V1 is 0.050 divided by V2 is 1.0 liters. So this comes out to be 3.0 molar. Let's see if this makes sense. Initially, I have a 0.050 liters, and I did what? I diluted it by adding more volume to this. If I diluted it, the concentration should decrease, right? So it goes from 6 to 3. So that makes sense. Let's do another example. This one says, what volume of a 2.00% HCl solution can be prepared by diluting 25.0 ml of a 14% solution? Okay, so again, what we have is that initially we have 14% solution and we have 25 mils of that. The question is, if I want to make 2% solution by diluting that initial concentration, how much in volume can I make? So what is it that we're solving for? We're solving for V2, right? So to solve for V2, we divide both sides by C2. So C1 V1 divided by C2. So what is our initial concentration? 14%. What is our initial volume? 25.0 ml. What is our second concentration? Our final concentration that we want is 2.0%. So the math there says that percentage and percentage, they cancel out, giving us the units of ml. So 175 milliliters. So that is what V2 is equal to. So my next question is to really understand what these numbers mean. It says how much water needs to be added, assuming volumes are additive. That means that when you add two volumes, 1 plus 1 is 2. You may think that's for granted, but actually it's not true in chemistry. Alright, so this answer says V2 is 175 ml. So how much water is that? Remember that our initial volume, V1, is 25 ml. If I dilute it to become 175 ml, it would be the new concentration, right? So the question is, how much water do I need to add to get 175? So let me draw a picture out. Let's say you have 25 ml. You're going to add water in here until it is at 175 ml. At 175 ml, it would be that 2%. Before that, it was that 14%. The question is, how much water do I need to add? So if you're at 25 and you need to go 175, how much is the water? Right? So you would just say, wouldn't that just be a difference? 175 minus 25. minus 25. That will give you 150 ml. So in order to do this dilution, you take 25 ml of the 14% solution, you add 150 ml of water into it, then you would get 175 ml of the 2% solution. Alright, so let's do a checkpoint. How many milliliters of water must be added to 265 ml of a 1.75 molar HCl solution to dilute it to 0.750 molar HCl? Alright, dilution problem, write down everything you need. Write down everything you know. So, what is my C1? What is my V1? What is my C2? What is my V2? How many milliliters of water must be added to 265 ml? So that must be my original volume of a 1.75 molar HCl. So that must be my original concentration. To dilute it to a new concentration, which is 0.0750 molar. Alright, so this is what we don't know. So simply V2 is equal to C1 V1 divided by C2, which is 1.75 molars divided times 265 milliliters divided by 0.75 molars. Doing that math, I get 618 ml. But is that the final answer? No, right? The question asks how many milliliters of water must be added. What is this volume? This is not the volume of water. This is the final volume. Right? So this is the final volume of V2. We know our initial volume is 265 and our final volume must be 618. So how much water must we add to go from 265 to 618? So V of water is equal to 618 minus 265 units of ml. That comes out to be 353.